Welcome back from lunch, everyone. We're ready to kick off our afternoon sessions here at the Clio Spotlight stage. Please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Shannon Bukosis.
I'm waiting for a thumbs up. There it is. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Clio's Best Kept Secret, making custom fields work for you. My name is Shannon, and I'm a Principal Product Manager here at Clio. Did you know that you can perform routine intake, keep key, client, and matter data at hand, and use it to automatically generate documents without having to enter any of the data yourself? Because with Clio, that is possible, and that's what we're here to talk about today. This best kept secret is called custom fields, and I'm going to show you what they are, why they're awesome, and how to use them. I'm mostly focusing on how to use them. Strategic use of custom fields is the foundation of a scalable, automated, and intelligent law practice, because they not only save you time, but they can give you key insights into how you manage your clients, cases, and your business. So whether you're a solo or part of a large firm, your data should work for you, not create extra admin. To start with, what are custom fields? I don't know about you, but to me the name sounds very dull. What are fields? It's like the word data. It doesn't really mean anything to me. But when I think about them as information, the key pieces of information that matter to me and my client to ensure I give them the best service possible, now I care, and hopefully you do too. Custom fields capture the information that you define, whether it's to track case-specific information like date of marriage, date of separation, or track contact-specific information like social insurance number or date of birth. This information can then be shared and used across all of Clio's products. So in the case of Camilla Soprano needing a divorce, custom fields are things like date and place of marriage, date of separation, and what she's looking for in a divorce. You can use custom fields in your intake forms to capture information directly from your client at intake. So for the purposes of showing a simple example using a single piece of information, here we have Camilla filling out an intake form for a divorce which asks her to enter the date of marriage. Once she's submitted this form, the information is available in Grow, and when you're reviewing the case, if you decide to take on the case, you'll also see it in Manage. So in our simple example, here we have the date of marriage, which automatically came into Manage. And now this information can also be used to automatically create documents that require it. So here you'll see the document populated with the date of marriage, or without having to enter that data yourself. In addition, custom fields can also be used to help you with your case management and strategy, in that they can be used for searching and reporting. So in this example, if I have opposing counsel as one of my custom fields, I can actually search all of my cases that have gone against that co-counsel and see how I did, what tips and tricks I can use in my next case. Similarly, I can use them to search and report on all of my contacts. I can search for clients that have children that fall within a specific age range, or look for clients that have military status, as in the example here. Custom fields can also be used to create standardized relationships of contacts to matters. So things like judge, witness, or spouse. And when looking at a contact, I'll be able to clearly see how that contact is related to any and all of my matters in Clio. I'll be able to see that this contact, for example, was a client in 2 cases, a medical expert in another, a medical provider, and all sorts of other relationships and other matters that I have in Clio. And just recently, I'm excited to say, Clio has released a feature that will allow you to generate custom reports that use this custom field information. And we already have customers who've been involved in the pilot who tell us they've used custom fields to track information about payment plans and billing cycles, and they're using this new feature to generate reports that help them manage their billing. So now that I've piqued your interest in custom fields, or at least I hope I have, I want to go over some of the best practices for using them. And like most good things, the key is planning. Planning first will allow you to build smart and automate for scale. As we like to say at Clio, custom fields aren't just for collecting information. They are the key to working smarter and faster. Similar to Jack said this morning, it's all about action. So when it comes to planning and how do I want to implement my custom fields, the questions to ask yourselves are, what information do I want to collect from my client? What information do I want to see at a glance? What information do I want to use in my documents? And what information might I want to search for or report by? You'll also want to be asking yourself what information is specific to a case, so things like date and location of marriage, or specific to a person, more like social insurance number, date of birth. And finally, you'll also want to consider how this information differs by practice area, and maybe even by case type. So here we have an example for family, and we're looking at the custom fields that I might want to have for a divorce matter. So I'm tracking things like who is the opposing party, what is the marriage info, how many children are there, and what are their custody goals. And here's an example of what I may want to track on a personal injury matter. So things like incident info, client, defense insurance, police reports, all of those kinds of things. Once you've planned out all of the different kinds of custom fields that you need, your next step will be to implement those fields in Clio. And then we have quite a few tips and tricks today for how to best do that, especially when implementing custom fields across multiple Clio products. Which brings me to pro tip 1. Always configure your custom fields in Manage first. You'll be able to sync them to Grow and Draft later. When creating your custom fields in Manage, think about the type of information that you are capturing. Is it a number? Is it a word or sentence? Is it a drop-down menu, a date, a person? It's important to use the correct type. And this brings me to pro tip 2. If you do have multiple products, pick compatible data types. And so if you've got Grow, Manage, Draft, we recommend that you use text, date, pick list, and contact select. This is going to make sure that that information transitions across the product smoothly. Additionally, pro tip 3, if you're wanting to capture information that is related to a person, don't use a string. Don't use text. Use a contact. This will allow you to standardize the types of relationships your contacts have with all of your matters. And this is going to allow you to more easily track these relationships over time. When naming your fields, pro tip 4, and this is more of a common mistake to avoid, don't use any special characters in your field names. Keep them to letters and spaces. And this actually includes symbols like apostrophes. This will also ensure that your fields work correctly across all of our products. And a final tip for creating your custom fields in Manage, consider using default and required fields sparingly. Required fields may actually block matter creation, so you only want to use a required field if you know that you're going to have this information handy when you actually start creating the matter. For default, this setting will apply to all of your matters. So this may create friction when you scale, because I don't want to have date of marriage for a PI matter. And later on, I'm going to talk about matter templates, which will give you a more flexible way of creating default configurations. OK, so now you have all of your fields in Manage. You can go ahead and sync them to Clio Grow for use in intake forms and email templates. In Grow settings, custom fields, simply click on the Sync Clio Manage Custom Fields button. And all of your supported fields will come over. We have a few additional tips and tricks for using custom fields effectively within Grow. And that brings me to pro tip 6. Make sure you link your custom fields to your intake form questions. This way, your prospects can enter the information for you. So when you're creating your form, click on the Edit button next to your question, Then click on the question settings, and you'll be able to link to the desired custom field. This will have the client entering the information for you. Final little pro tip for Grow, and this is more of a caution again. When configuring your form, use contact blocks carefully. Contact blocks contain required fields, which means for every contact block you use, it has to be filled out. Otherwise, your prospect won't be able to submit the form. When the client has completed and submitted the form, all of the information that they've entered is now available for you in Grow, and you can make a decision on whether to take on that case. Okay, so now you have created all your fields in Manage. You've synced them all across to Grow. Now you can connect your Clio Draft account, and then that will bring all of your custom fields from Manage into Draft. In Draft, go to Settings, Integrations, and you'll click a Connect button. And you will see that your account's enabled, indicating that it's ready. Now, there would be a lot to cover on how to incorporate custom fields into your document templates, so I'm not going to be covering that today, I'm sorry, but do come see us at the Customer Success Center. However, there is one pro tip that I'd like to leave you with, and that is pro tip 8. Avoid changing your custom field names, as this may actually break your existing templates. If you do need to change a field, the best practice is to actually create a new field and a new associated document template. Okay, so now you have all of your custom fields created. They're synchronized between Grow and Manage and Draft. Now I want to just go over a few tips for how you can use custom fields within Manage and see your data your way. Pro tip 9. You can select how to order the fields in your Matter view. Go to Manage, Settings, Custom Fields, Modify Order, and you can simply click and drag the order of the fields, and that's how they be displayed in the Matter. Now, if you have a lot of fields, like you see here, you'll likely want to be able to group those fields by relevance to make it easier to view and find the right information. So Clio calls this field sets. So here is an example of using custom fields without sets. And here's an example showing custom fields using sets. As you can see, field sets will arrange the fields together under a header. We also provide side navigation, making it easier and faster to find the most relevant information when you need it. And here we've shown an example divorce matter using field sets, where we've separated out general matter details from marriage and minor children details. And you can also use numbers, if you want to, in your field set headers to ensure that you get an ordering of the display of your sets. So now you've got your custom fields. You've grouped them into sets. Clio has matter templates that allow you to put it all together and have Clio automatically create the matter for you. With a matter template, you can decide which custom fields and field sets you want, as well as additional functionality like setting default values for core fields, creating a default set of document folders, and task lists. And you can save this setup for different practice areas, case types, or even jurisdictions or specific users. So here's an example of a personal injury matter versus a family law matter, which we've configured using templates. On the left, you see a general section for incident details and another for client insurers. And on the right, you can see a divorce matter with general case details and another section for marriage details. To learn more about matter templates or to get help setting up your templates, do please come and visit us at the Customer Success Center. Okay, switching gears a little. Moving away from matter setup, I have one final pro tip for you. We've recently released support for adding custom fields to our reporting features. In the report section, simply click on Create New Custom Report, and you'll now see matter and contact custom fields as part of your reporting options. Now, we've covered a lot of ground today with multiple tips and tricks, but I hope we've inspired you to start using custom fields if you haven't already, and let them do the work for you. And remember, focus on planning first. We're here to help you. If you have any questions, you want any help getting started, or you want to know how to get more out of Clio, please do visit us at the Customer Success Center. If you have feedback for the product team, I'd love to see you in the product lab. And of course, if you're interested in adding Clio Grow or Draft or any of our other products, head on over to Level Up with Clio. Thank you all for your time, and thank